From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome to another edition of The Horse's Mouth here on CW17. We're at Tommy Mac's Bar. We got a great show lined up for you. Hope you had a great week out there, Jacksonville. Believe, create, hustle, man, and get it done. We're going to do it for you this week on the show. My good friend, former teammate, we used to compete against each other. We played with each other here at the Jaguars. One of the original 10 Jacksonville Jaguars, Greg Huntington, is here. Looking forward to catching up with him. Like me, he came back, stuck around, has been here a long time, got a great job, great family, and loves this city of Jacksonville. Looking forward to catching up with my old teammate. And we'll also touch base with our friends at Ewing Real Estate. Yeah, Daniel Blanchard and Ben Bishop. These guys know the game of real estate all throughout the city of Jacksonville, making it great every single day. We're going to do that and more right here on The Horse's Mouth on CW17.
What makes the Tom Busch Family Dealership so special?
It's because we treat our customers like family.
I like the fact that I can come and call him and say, this is what's going on.
We're here for you. That's a cool thing.
It feels like that. It feels like I'm a family member of the BMW now. What's my next car going to be? The M?
No, an 8 Series Coupe.
Ooh, really?
Google it.
Okay, I'll Google it.
We invite you to join our growing family.
Visit one of our 7 locations today and experience the Tom Busch difference.
All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here with my good friend, former teammate, former enemy, opponent out on the football field, Mr. Greg Huntington joins me here at Tommy Mac's. Greg, great to have you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be here. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Man, you had quite the career, right? You go to Penn State, 88 to 92.
Right.
You end up here in Jacksonville. We'll get into that. But, man, take us back being recruited by Penn State. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so I didn't feel that, that pull from Penn State. But going to Boston College, guys that weren't recruited by Penn State, oh, my gosh, you thought the world was going to end, right? I mean, Penn State in the East was the school at that time. What was it like to be recruited by them?
Well, I mean, it was amazing. I had 2 dreams growing up in life. I wanted to play at Penn State for Coach Paterno, and I wanted to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. My affinity towards Penn State was because my dad went there, his dad went there. They didn't play football.
Okay.
But we migrated south, so I actually grew up in Birmingham. People were like, how did you get from Birmingham to Penn State?
Wow.
But it was difficult growing up in SEC country, pulling for Penn State. Yep. But my dad eventually got transferred to Cincinnati my junior and senior year of high school, so I went to Moeller High School.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big powerhouse. And that opened up the doors for recruiting. And so, and back in our day, we got 5 visits.
Right.
And so my first visit was to be at Penn State. And then I was going to go to Michigan. I actually had Boston College on there.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought very highly of them, and like Indiana and Pitt.
Okay.
Of course, I visited Penn State my first visit. I canceled all the other ones. I didn't even make Joe come to my house because I was such a shoe-in to go to Penn State.
Yeah.
So, but it was still a big deal. I mean, it's a dream come true, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
And then just to fast forward, it's interesting. You mentioned my NFL career. I was drafted by the Redskins in the 5th round. Went from the Redskins to the Jaguars to the Bears.
That's right. I remember the Bears.
And then in 2000, I get a call from the Steelers.
Really?
Yeah, it was training camp. I was going to be a body because they had some injuries, but I figured, hey, I get to go. I get to wear the black and gold. So
I didn't know
by the age of 30, I achieved both of my dreams. I
Nice.
went to Penn State and I played for the Steelers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's what you wanted to do, and you got it done. And we know the road wasn't easy, right? I mean, it took a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but it's so much fun. People don't realize. I say this all the time. When you're playing ball and you're training for football, it's easy. It's hard, but it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get there, but once you're there, what do? You work out and you play ball and you study and you hopefully do some good things in the community. It's a pressurized lifestyle, but it's a nice and easy lifestyle at the same time.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, now that I'm in corporate America America is its own beast in and of itself and grind, which is very different from the grind in which we went through. I mean, we would have spurts of pressure in the grind, whether it's training camp, trying to make the team, always trying to excel, be bigger, faster, stronger. Yep. But yes, it's an elite number of people that get to live the lifestyles in which we did. But it's not void of a tremendous amount of hard work to get there and then also to maintain it.
Of course. And it's cutthroat.
Yes.
I mean, once you got no more use, they have no more use for you, it's over. Whether it's injury or your age or someone's better. I mean, it's just like, hey, it's over.
Yeah, I hit 30 as an offensive lineman. I'm over the hill.
No, right. Yeah, no kidding.
So,
very similar to to myself, ending at age 30, and then you're sitting there going, well, okay, now what am I gonna do? I got a family coming. I got to, married, and got to figure it out. But never trade those times in the National Football League for anything.
No, but let's dispel the myth. Now things have gotten better financially for the players, and they were good when we came in.
Yeah.
But everybody has this misperception that because you played in the NFL, they always people are asking me, Greg, well, why do you work? Because I have to. Because I didn't make.
You're retired now, huh, Tom? I'm like,
no,
football. Yeah,
no,
but nothing else.
You still got mouths to feed,
That's right.
weddings to pay for, education.
We got a good head start.
I know some guys did make multi-millions, and they did well with their money, and they can live that kind of lifestyle, but that's not me.
All right, so you came here. You're one of the original 10. What was that like for you? I remember you already being here when I came up for my workout, and took about another 3 weeks to get signed, and then we started the off-season program. But you'd been here for at least a month at that time.
Yeah, like I said, I was drafted by the Redskins, and then I got released after my rookie season. And I go, you know what? I can't play football for the rest of my life, so I need to do something else. So I developed a business plan to sign with one of the new expansion teams.
Yep.
I felt like if I went into those markets, it would be easier to start a business. So I actually sat the 94 season out, even though I had an opportunity to sign with Minnesota and Green Bay in the 94 season. Was determined to come here. So I signed as one of the original 10, which was kind of neat. I mean, you would have thought we were the greatest thing since sliced bread before they had the expansion draft and rookie draft.
No, right.
I mean, I got a key from the mayor, Ed
Did
Austin.
you?
Oh, I got a key. They paraded us around town.
That's great.
I mean, we were street free agents.
Yeah, right.
But I came in here, moved in here, and started a business with a college roommate of mine, a temporary staffing agency. So I was here. I mean, I was the guy that moved into town first, and just fell in love with Jacksonville. That's why I eventually returned in 2009.
Yep.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
It's the best.
It's awesome.
I agree. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. More with Greg Huntington, former Penn State offensive lineman and original Jacksonville Jaguar, right here on the Horse's Mouth on CW17. Brought to you by... All right, welcome back to Tommy Max here on the Horse's Mouth on CW17. I'm here with Greg Huntington, of course. Greg, going to Penn State, we talked about how prestigious that was. Obviously, a fantastic university and football program with a lot of history, including with Joe Paterno. Look, everyone knows about the scandal that happened with the staff and a member of the staff. And all that went down. How do you, as a guy that was your dream, right? You're an alumnus. You're proud of that school, and you should be, right? You should be for everything you guys achieve while you're there. But how does that, and I'm going to call it a stain, how does that feel? Yeah. Has it dissipated? It's been about 6 years. Do you still feel it? What's your thoughts as a guy that played for Paterno?
That's a great point you make. Going to Penn State and being at a dream to go there and to play for Coach Paterno and how iconic he was, it was always a positive. It defined who I was, and it was always a positive conversation that I would have. You played at Penn State. What was Coach Paterno like?
Yeah,
it was a great conversation. And obviously after 2011 and with the scandal, it's always now it comes with the asterisk or it becomes a negative.
Yep.
Well, did you know?
Right.
Did you know the perpetrator?
Right.
And of course I did.
Right.
It has dissipated over time, and I think Coach O'Brien was the perfect guy that bridged the gap between Paterno and bringing Penn State football back to relevance.
Yep.
And it's interesting. The coach now, help me with his name.
James.
James Franklin. I almost closed the book on him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he didn't seem like he was carrying the feel of the tradition that we did.
Yep.
But I get it. Kids have changed, and I've turned the corner. I'm his biggest fan, and I think he's really brought Penn State football back to prominence, which helps. But there'll always be that asterisk and that stain that will never fully go away, and you always have to address.
If I may say from an outside, the negative is the negative, but the positive is, man, the kids that stayed, not just the football program, but the kids that went to classes there, that were students there, they really came together, man, and we're like, okay, that's disgusting, that happened, we can't believe that happened, we didn't know anything about it, but hey, we're still Penn State. And they've helped build it back, I think.
Yeah, that's a great point you make. I can't imagine.
That's 2 in one show. Dang.
Well, I know.
I'm hitting it out of the park today.
Boston College, y'all. I mean, there's some education going on there.
That's right.
I don't know what it was like to be the players in that moment. And for them, for the most part, they did lose a handful of guys.
Yeah, they did.
But I think Mike Motti, who was a linebacker, stuck around and kind of was the rallying point for the players. And they did. I mean, the sanctions were to be to 4 years, and they went through 2 years of it, and then the NCAA, let the last 2 years go.
Yep.
But yeah, they really did. They kept it together. We didn't suffer a losing season, which is amazing.
Right.
And again, now I think with Coach Franklin, I mean, Penn State's going to be year in and year out somebody to contend with.
So sorry about that. We talked about this off the air, but you, like I, saw the documentary called Paterno, titled Paterno on HBO. What were your thoughts after watching it?
I watched it twice just so I could fully take it all in. I honestly think they did an excellent job capturing Coach Paterno and even Sue Paterno and not so much Jay, and I'll get to that, but capturing Joe's mannerisms, the way he carried himself. Joe was very singularly focused on the task at hand. When they made the point, it's Nebraska. Well, that's his job.
That's right.
His job is to win football games and to produce good citizens for society under his tutelage. But he was very hands-on. I mean, he would develop the practice schedule. He'd walk around. He'd yell and scream at different people. Hey, it was always about the next game. So it wasn't like Joe was...
He was a football coach.
He was a football coach. He wasn't running the university as a president. I remember Joe would drive around campus on his way to our practice facility, and he saw somebody walking on the grass. He'd like, get off the grass. He was just that old school kind of guy. But he was really focused on football. And people think, he had this persona that was larger than life and bigger than the university. And that may be true in terms of perception. But the reality of it was, Joe wasn't meddling with the affairs of the president or other departments. It was about the next game.
The documentary made it seem like he knew something. Do you think he knew that Sandusky was a...
Well, I think if you read
no. Did anybody?
No.
Did anybody? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but nobody ever whispered about man, that guy's a great coach, but man, he's strange or nothing like that.
Like I said, I was there from '88 to '92. Prior to that, I went to 4 years of football camp.
Wow.
And Jerry ran those camps. And Jerry was kind of an enthusiastic, goofy guy. Not
an iconic coach. He was.
And people enjoyed playing for him. Yeah. And I even know when I was signing there in '88, they were like, was this Joe's last class? And in my mind, okay, that wouldn't be great, but I'll play for Jerry.
Right.
So even when all this came out, I remember Kyle Brady, who lives here.
That's right.
Played with the Jaguars. Of
course.
We thought maybe he roughed a kid up. We didn't realize it was abuse. I think there was 2 incidents that happened in the 90s that were investigated and nothing was brought. I think Joe probably in the back of his mind thought where there's smoke, there's fire. Jerry retires in 99.
99, right.
2000 is when Coach McQuarrie brings him what he saw in the showers. And then Joe takes that to the vice president of the university and athletic director, Thinks he's done everything he should do, moves on, again, focused on the next game, football program. But, and I always go back to this, Joe did say out of his own mouth, my biggest regret is I should have done more. Yeah. What more could he have done? Follow through, follow up.
Only he knows, right?
But, it's a tough topic to talk about because you have 2 camps of people.
Right.
You have people that think that Joe got railroaded.
Right.
Was mistreated, or you got people that if you defend Joe at all, you're no better than Jerry Sandusky. Which I'm not there. I think it's maybe,
The truth is always somewhere in the middle here on earth, Greg. We know that.
This is true. And, Joe, he passed away before he got an opportunity to testify. So
well, thanks for being so open on that. I know that's not an easy topic, but look, I remember playing Penn State, and it was a big effing deal. It was like, you're going to play Penn State, you better be ready, because I'll never forget my sophomore year, we had to go to break, but that 92-90, I remember just looking up behind me, up at the stands going, oh my gosh, this stadium was incredibly massive and loud and so much fun, and I'll never forget it. All right, more to come here on The Horse's Mouth with Greg Huntington, and I believe we're going to have some rugby players join us here, right here on The Horse's Mouth on CW17. Stay tuned. Brought to you by... All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth. Greg Huntington is here with me, and we're now joined with the head coach of the Jacksonville Axemen, the rugby league team right here in Jacksonville. Sean Rutcherson is here. Sean, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Tommy Max.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Everything going well?
So far, yes.
Yeah? Good.
We've had one game, and we're 1-0.
Hey, that's what counts, right? Listen, I've been associated with the Axemen for a very long time. I've never played rugby, but, man, I have such a great respect and love watching the game. You guys are full on physical. You got to be in great shape. It's very competitive. You break your noses and you don't even think twice about it.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. Is that about right?
Yeah,
accurate?
That's right. Well, in Australia, we only have so many substitutions. So if you get busted, you got to either play on or the team plays a man down.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Can't let them down.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of that in there. You can't let the team down.
No doubt about it. Greg, Jags. And I know you're a Jag. You got to be a Jag fan if you're in Jacksonville, I would think, right? Or at least we're happy that they're here.
I think he hesitated.
Yeah, he did a little. There's a little hesitation.
I think there's really a home team that he really wants to.
That's right. Who's your team? All right, we'll give you a chance. Who's your team?
Also the Jags, but I'm still learning the game.
Okay,
there's
good.
a lot to your game,
Right,
and
Greg,
I'm
we'd
just
be more than
getting
happy
there.
to tell you all you need
Just
to know
getting
about it.
Got a
Ins
couple
and
of
outs.
questions that I need answered.
Absolutely. We can get that done. What an exciting time. I mean, you played when I played. We had great teams. We were very successful. The city was rocking. It went in a lull for a little bit. Del Rio had a couple years, but they're back, man. They're back, and they're better than ever. I think that defense is sick. I think what they've done on the offensive line, bringing in Norwell from Carolina, I think this, and Blake's going to be better. They got I think this is going to be a bad to the bone team this year.
I agree, but let's just talk about why they're back.
Yeah.
And that's because of Tom Coughlin.
TC, baby.
You know.
And Doug.
Don't
And
get
Doug.
me wrong. Doug's cut from the same cloth.
Yep.
But TC, I didn't expect it to turn around this quick. I was going to give him 2 years, but he did it in a year.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about what this year holds and the future.
I've known Tom, obviously, for a long time, but one thing about him that he doesn't get enough credit for is he's a phenomenal talent evaluator.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a few misses like they all do, but, man, he hits 95% of the time when he brings guys in, draft or free agency.
Yeah. Well, the fact that
I'm one of the 5%.
The fact that you were there and I was there,
we're the 5%, right? No, but he is. He's great
I would agree
evaluator
with
talent.
you. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. You know, Sean, when you think about Coughlin, right? It's very structured. It's discipline. It's tough love. It's accountability. I gotta think that rugby players like that kind of approach when you're coaching them up. Is that a fair statement?
For me, yeah, there's got to be some structure.
Yep.
But we also have the ability in our game for guys who have some extraordinary talent to go off and do their own thing.
Okay.
So we've got to do a little bit of both, depending on obviously the personalities in the team.
You know, one day I hope to get, because rugby players try to make, they make the switch, right? And vice versa. I'd love to get a guy that tried to go from rugby to the National Football League, and the guys that made it, because that's a totally different game, and it's pretty. I mean, there's a lot of similarities and parallels, but it's a totally different game.
Yeah, I always play that little game in my mind. You know, if you took certain NFL players and you developed the rugby team and you taught them the game, how well would they compete against some of the world's greatest? You know, it's always fun.
You
and
never
I
know.
think some of the guys that have made the transition have been on the kicking side.
Yep.
You know, the punters. I don't know that there's been.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple special team guys. There was a guy
special
last
team
year
guys.
too that made it running down on kickoffs for the Chargers or somebody like that. But what do you think? How's the transition? Do you think?
Well, coming across from your football to ours, we have a couple of young kids that are coming and trying out with our team, and mate, their footwork is unbelievable. Like the way they move around and their agility, and that it's almost laughable. I was laughing the other day, one of the kids running through, because he's that good.
Wow.
He's that fast and.
But can he take a smash to the face and not, let his men down? That's the question, right?
I'm not. Well, he'll find out soon when he plays. But the main issue, if you want to call it that, is the effort on effort.
Yep.
So with you guys, you make a tackle, you get up, and you get that little 30-second rest or whatever it is. There's no rest. They've got to get up and go again, and they might do 2 and 3 things at a time, and then sprint for. You know what I mean?
Yep. Real quick with tackling, more NFL teams, more any level should tackle like rugby. I mean, they do it right? They put the head to the side, the face is up. On occasion, they're going to hit heads. It just happens. But for the majority of the time, they got that head to the side. They're getting low. They're getting into that hip range, that upper body range, and they're picking them up and putting them down. I mean, that's how we got to get back to that. I mean, everyone wants to talk about safety. Get back to that. Let's just tackle better.
No, I would agree. But it's going to take time, and it'll be a cultural change. I mean, in terms of the way in which we kind of grew up or knew how to tackle. But you're right. I mean, it's much safer for head trauma.
No doubt.
Well,
we got to work on that. All right, real quick as we wrap up, you work for Advanced Disposal. Yes. You work with municipalities and their marketing. Tell the people what you're doing.
Yeah, so I work with elected officials and their staff, and I try to protect our large city and county contracts as well as land new ones. But you mentioned Advance. I love working for Advanced Disposal. Wouldn't want to work for anybody else. The people I work with operate with the highest integrity. They do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Our biggest need in our industry is drivers because we have low unemployment. It's hard to find them. And so I just push people to our website, advanceddisposal.com/careers, and search for opportunities. We're always looking for drivers that have a CDL.
CDL license, right?
CDL license.
I do not have that. Maybe a couple of Axemen could get it, though, Sean, and get them driving while they're in their off time.
Yeah,
Maybe?
I'd rather just
Have them rest, train or rest, right?
Yeah,
All right, well, thanks for coming on the show, man. 1-0, the Jacksonville Axemen. We wish you the best, man. Hope you guys have a great year. Thanks so much. Greg, always great to see you, brother.
Likewise.
Always great.
Yep,
Thanks so much for everything and
it.
for being on. It was a good time. We got more to come here as we wrap up another edition of The Horse's Mouth on CW 17. All right, time once again for Up Close and Personal here on The Horse's Mouth on CW17. My guests, my good friends from Ewing Real Estate and Alan C. Ewing. It's Daniel Blanchard and Ben Bishop. Fellas, welcome to the show. Great having you, man. Tommy Max, not a bad place. I know you two have done many real estate deals over, a few beers at the bar. What do you think? Now and again?
Well, yeah, it's one of my favorite places to do deals for
That's
sure.
right.
So,
Either that or the golf course, Ben, right?
The proverbial back of the cocktail napkins.
That's right.
That's where
That's
a lot
right.
of them get done.
All right, so we're all in real estate. And for those of you that don't know, I work with these guys at Ewing Real Estate, director of their capital markets, which I'm very proud of.
Absolutely.
So who's the president? Who's the CEO? I'm trying to figure this out. Who's in charge between you two?
well,
I'd like to know that answer myself.
I'm in charge, and when things go south, Ben's in charge.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Somehow I sign all the paperwork.
Yeah.
And,
There you go.
Daniel takes all the glory.
That's
You're
exactly
John
right.
Hancock's on the line,
exactly.
huh? Literally
Exactly.
and punitively. So real estate, fellas. Before we get into the growth of Jacksonville, which you all know is on fire, it seems, as we sit here today, but how did you guys each develop a love for real estate? DB, I'll start with you.
Well, for me, it was out of college. It was intriguing, interesting. It's something that I wanted to do.
What did you study in college? You're a Florida Gator.
Marketing guy.
Marketing.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I did business marketing and economics and went back to get an MBA.
Okay.
But real estate was interesting. It was an opportunity to eat what you kill, to make more money if you can get it done, and that was exciting to me as a young guy. And I jumped in right out of college, and I think it's important that as the years go on, real estate evolves.
Right.
And we tend to have to shift what we do every few years. And so I was doing some land development back then, and then some sales. And if you get stuck in one niche, I think the market can leave you behind. But if you can move with it, I think that you can keep it going. And so there's been a lot of different niches that I've been in over the years. Back to doing a lot of development. It's a great time.
Yeah. How about you, Ben? What's your love for? Where did it start from?
Well, graduated from Auburn University.
So
War Eagle, War Dam.
All right.
And started at Barnett Banks. That was where I started my career, like many bankers in Jacksonville and in the state of Florida. And they had a phenomenal credit program where I learned really how to underwrite real estate deals. Moved into mortgage lending, and that was a good bridge into real estate. And when Daniel and I became business partners, 7 or 8 years ago, we made a decision we were going to move with the market, and so we've spent our time not only putting real estate deals together, but with the recession, working on a lot of real estate and non-performing assets as a function of the banks, and now with the market growing, a lot of residential development deals.
Well, rolling with the market obviously is very important, right? And then being able to offer, like you do at Ewing, a full fledged of services, right? Whether you're doing a development deal, whether you're getting a loan together, whether you're helping out a non-performing note owner or a group like that. I mean, there's a lot of different variations of what we do at Ewing.
Well, I would agree, and as you know, my dad, Ben C. Bishop Jr., is chairman of the firm. He's still there. We call him Senior.
That's
or Pops.
He's a
man. He's slugging it out about 30 hours a week at 86 years of age, which we're all proud of. Still the smartest guy in the room. But he really branded the firm and the reputation that it enjoys today. And with you running our capital markets, Daniel running our development side of the business, and I sort of manage our commercial brokerage side of the business. For a small firm, we do a lot.
That's
and,
right.
We're proud of it, and the market's good.
Yeah, capital markets guys like a vice detective, right? You got to look, you got to be part of the street, right? You guys are all dressed up in nice khakis and button-down shirts, But hey, what do I know? I'm just a bartender.
We give the illusion of professionalism.
That's right. We talked about how great everything is. We know the real estate game is not easy. You have to be. It's tough, right? It's a tough boat of business. If you can ride the markets well, you can do very well. But sometimes you have a learning curve with that. Deals go south. We've all been through that. You've got to be tough to do it. What's the key ingredient, or one of 3 key ingredients that you got to have to be successful in the real estate game? DB, you first.
Other than balls.
Yeah, you got to have balls. I'll tell you that the tough part about real estate is that it gives you so much freedom.
Yeah.
That it just gives you enough rope to hang yourself. You've got to be a self-starter. You've got to be a grinder. You've got to have that self-discipline. You've got to get up and go to work, because if you don't, there's nobody pushing you.
That's right.
You've got to have it on your own in order to get it done.
And you're not making money if you're not doing deals.
You're coming in late, leaving early. It's not going to happen. But you got to grind it out. Yep. Have that self-discipline. Everybody thinks that they do, but not everybody does.
Believe, create, hustle, DB.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
How about you?
It's going to sound similar, but perseverance.
Yeah.
You've got to have perseverance.
No
You have to have some level of risk. It's got to be balanced with good decision making. And one comment that I like to make as we look forward to the real estate market, not only in North Florida but just regionally and nationally, is we are entering into a rising interest rate market.
Yep.
And
that's right.
There's been arguably a generation that hasn't even seen what higher interest rates can do. And so I guess the one takeaway that I would pass on is just watch interest rates and understand what that can do to a real estate deal. A 50 basis point, 100 basis point, and that's all the way down to the homeowner.
That's right.
A homeowner trying to buy a house, if interest rates go up 1%, that can take a large segment out of the residential buying, and that ripples all the way through all aspects of the real estate market. So just watch that, and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years.
Well, great advice. Thanks for joining me here, fellas.
Absolutely.
Cheers
Glad to be here.
You got parting gifts, too. Not the beers, but the glasses for sure. All right, check them out at alanewing.com. Hey, look, we're always looking to grow our team. If you think you've got the salt to come on out and meet with us and see if maybe commercial real estate's a fit for you, we'd be welcoming to that opportunity. That'll do it for us this time here on Up Close and Personal on the Horse's Mouth on CW17. All right, what a great show we had this week. I want to thank Greg Huntington for joining me here at Tommy Max. Of course, Sean Rutcherson, head coach of the Jacksonville Axemen, and the fellas from the team. That was very cool. My boys over at Ewing Real Estate, Daniel Blanchard, Ben Bishop. Great to have them on Up Close and Personal. Hey, I want to take time out real quick for 2 things. One, I was at a charity event with a bunch of Jacksonville Jaguars. Fellas, you're doing a great job in the community, man. Not only a great team, but you seem like great people, and you're doing some great work out there. So keep it up, man. Really, really appreciate seeing what you're doing out there in the community. I do want to thank my sponsors, Tom Bush, family of dealerships of Carpet Man, and we're bringing on a new one, Stellar, the humongous, the international general contracting and construction firm right here based out of Jacksonville. They do some great, great work all throughout the world. It's an honor to have all my sponsors on the Horse's Mouth. That's going to do it for us this week. So make sure you stay cool, Jacksonville, and be safe out there. We'll see you next time right here on the Horse's Mouth on CW17.